Greetings. This video is dedicated to all the mothers. Yeah. Blessed be. We're now on day 73. Wow. Wow. The last Zodiac card, number 7, related the mysteries of the as above and the so below. Today we're going to be relating the inner and the outer, and even the outer as well, because it's a fractal. So this one is also dedicated to honouring our ancestors and the octaves of the ancestors and on all the different levels. In the stars right now, the moon has now entered the Aries sign, which is just lasts a day because it's one of the smaller ones. And I know it's interesting that the ratio, because this is the 5th sign from the center of the galaxy, and we're now on the 8th in the zodiac sequence. So we've got a ratio there of 5 to 8. 5 to 8. Which is a Fibonacci ratio. So it's interesting. I originally thought the Zodiac series would be one day after the next, one day after the next. But going from my experience in my first video series, I actually sort of got ill after 22 days of non-stop video making. So learning from my mistakes, I've been having occasional days off. But even with my days off, I've revealed another pattern which I'm embodying because it's reflected in the numbers. So there we go. Following your intuition really helps sometimes. Right. So continuing to arc back to Galactic Center, we're now on day 73, card 8, which is Zodiac 8. And that's this card here, which is Isis with Horus, mother and child. Okay. Isis and Horus connected with traditional sign of Cancer. Isis and Horus occur here as the archetypal mother and child. Their relationship spanning one generation or an octave in time. The octave symbolizing in music a reoccurring pattern of the 7 notes within a scale plus 1, the original note to create the octave. 7 plus 1 is 8. This overall pattern repeats across the scale like a fractal does, and in the same way so does the ancestral line. Their symbol is the 8-pointed star, or twin square, see center of the geometry. In this system, it represents the continual change of the seasons, or 8-fold year. The renewal of each season being celebrated by the ancient pagan tribes as the 4 fire festivals. The 8-fold number arrangement is also used in the ancient Chinese oracle system called the I Ching, made up of 8 trigrams. When paired, they equal 8 times 8 equals 64. In the genetic code, our DNA is made up of 64 codons, just like the unfolding lines of the I Ching. Now, these bits of information have been covered in previous sections. The different number 8s, and even Alchemy 9 talked about the original 8 cell plus the DNA code around it. So original 8 cell. Wow. And that starts off as an egg. So what is it actually that's passed on? It's the mitochondrial DNA. Yeah. Yeah, the blessings of the goddess. Yeah, okay. Right, well, going back to some of my musical theory, I sketched this out to try and explain it further, because sometimes graphics do help. And you've got a keyboard here, yeah, and you've got the notes on the keyboard. So, as you can see, there's a group of 4, a group of 3, group of 4, group of 3, and the group of 4 also have 3 darker notes, and the group of 3 have 2 darker notes. So you get 7, 5, 7, 5 recurring on the keyboard. But here, 3 plus 4 is 7. So in a scale, you don't use every note. So in an open scale of C, yeah, just standard C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, you have to include the 7, but in order to complete the scale, you have to hit the original C again, which is the 7 plus 1. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 plus 1. Okay? Now that's a reoccurring pattern in terms of the actual music. The way the notes are arranged, yeah, that's actual different than how you play the music. How you play the music, you actually need the 8. Yeah, but the actual keys on the keyboard are arranged in this 5 to 7 ratio. Yeah. But to actually play the music, you have to actually have that 8th note. You have to be aware of that, the octave positioning, which is the +1. Going back to the different ones we've talked about, +1s already. That's how the +1 is important, just like you have the 13 months, the 12 plus 1. Again, it completes a circuit. Yeah. Yeah. So this is what we're talking about. We're talking about octaves, but in d.n.a. Because it's the numbers which resonate across the scale. So this is another alchemy code, because we've got a pair of mother and child. The 8 times the 8. Yeah. The 8-fold year. Wow. Well, I've been watching some interesting information about 5G recently. Now, if you do the calculation, we're actually in the 5th century of the Gregorian. Since the Gregorian calendrical change and the 10 days being removed, it's actually the year 437. So we're actually in the 5th century of Gregorian domination. So 5G, yeah. The consent of the public, is that a factor? And do tests get properly conducted first? Did they test out the Gregorian before they introduced it? Again, these are reoccurring historical programs replaying, just on a mass scale, because there's now billions of humans now. So if the original understanding of consent was missing with millions of people, and we've seen the knock-on results for the last 5 centuries, what will be the knock-on result of lack of consent in regards to a weaponizable bit of technology, military-grade technology? That's what the information's saying, and it doesn't look like they've been doing the tests. And it relates to today because actually the d.n.a is also a fractal antenna. Yeah, because we're actually an electrical being. Yeah. And there's loads of evidence talking about how actually our natural biological energy is affected by machines. Yeah, I know it for personal experience, yeah? Staring at computers most of my life, yeah. Yeah, I look forward to the day I don't actually have to look at a computer screen ever again. I'm I'm not in this to perpetuate the machine world. No, to me the technology is a tool, like a hammer. You put it back on the shelf in the garage, yeah, once you've finished doing your work. This whole digital fortress nonsense. Well, do you have the codes of infinity? Yeah. We're still using the Gregorian, then the planet hasn't received the infinity codes then. Because it's the antithesis. It's the virus. It's the amnesia virus, the Gregorian. And I'm about to prove it to you unequivocally. Yeah? The DNA code, the 8 times the 8, within us, starting off with an original 8 cell from an egg. Yeah? From the original mother's egg, first stage, 8 cell, DNA code, 8 times 8. What was the basic foundation for understanding all the maths? Yeah, the 8-fold year aligned to nature. Not aligned to the Pope's calendar, no, aligned to nature. And what did I find? Well, I'm going to have to access the chunky book. Do you remember the chunky book? Yeah, this one's been around, yeah. Yeah. How many bits of evidence now? Yeah, right. Well, let's just access the chunky book again. Make this absolutely clear. So this is the celestial d.n.a. time spiral, which covers 20,000 years, which is where I found the 372s and the 391s. Yeah. Now, how did I configure this over thousands and thousands of years? Alright. Well, we're here, yeah? We're about here in this gigantic celestial d.n.a. time spiral. Back here, yeah? What happened back here? There's a certain line across here, and there's a certain line across here. What do these represent? Well, this is the aphelion at summer solstice and the perihelion at winter solstice. And up here, this is the aphelion at Lugnasa and the perihelion at Imbolc. But when I say that, I'm not talking about the Gregorian so-called far festival days. No, because to do accurate calculations over thousands of years, yeah, you actually have to use the correct days, or your calculations are going to be wrong. Okay? So, 8-fold year, yeah, basics, advanced time science, 8-fold year. If you have my original book, it's chapter 6. Yeah, here it is again, the 8-fold year. Yeah, both the organic and geometric, all together. And without this, I wouldn't have created this book. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to be sitting here saying what I'm saying, which is backed up with science. Because the Gregorian calendar isn't science. No, it's an ideological calendar, which means you can choose to use it, but that's your choice. I don't see how we can force something that's not scientific on a world population without them even knowing it. That's pretty dark, actually. Without consent, that's really dark. Now with technological, yeah, we want to introduce the technological level too. Total domination? Really? Yeah, I don't agree. I don't think we should introduce technologies like that if we're still using the Gregorian calendar, because it's not scientific. Now, without the science, I wouldn't have revealed the 372, 391, which matches up with the warming and cooling cycles. Yeah? Also matches up with the ancient Egyptian land of Kemet and Mayan vast thousands of year-long cycles. Yeah. The 1462 and the 1507. Yeah. Well, that's the inner reflecting the outer. Yeah. Because we all start off as an original 8 cell. Okay. And we're born into a world Yeah, with an eightfold year. Yeah. That's the science of it. To understand the reality we live in, you have to measure the reality we live in correctly and align it to nature, the earth and the moon and the sun and the cosmos that we live in, which doesn't look like a Gregorian calendar to me. If you think that looks like a Gregorian calendar, please explain to me how that looks like a Gregorian calendar. It's not. Okay? And that's where we actually live. We don't live in the Gregorian calendar. We live in a fictional Gregorian calendar system. Yeah? A regime. Yeah? Yeah, however fluffy and, get the best, keep up with the Joneses, get the latest stuff. Is that reality or is that just, materialism? Well, this is science, okay? This is the most natural science I've ever found in my life. And that's what I've been looking for. Yeah, to bring honor to our ancestors. Yeah, which means honoring all the mothers. Okay? That's what it means. Yeah. Here we are now up here. Yeah. Isis and Horus. Mother and child. There's all different archetypes for that around the world. That's just the Egyptian ancient land of Kemet names. They may not even be the original names. They may well be English translations of, through Greek or through however the language has been translated over thousands of years. But the image, the archetype is what I'm talking about. The names could, maybe I've spelled names wrong. I'm not a linguist. I'm looking at the maths and the archetypes. And today is mother and child. Yeah, the passing on of the mitochondrial DNA starts off as an egg. And we've already learned quite a lot about how the egg relates to the vaster time cycles. And how to track the egg with the eightfold year. To have a better clue of how it's fluctuating. From the as above, so below, to the inner, reflecting the outer. Original 8 cell, eightfold year. And outer still, 20,000 years. Tracked with the actual eightfold year. Because you can't do it accurately without doing that. So anybody who is claiming that that's what you can do, they're not telling the truth. And that's not what this work is about. No. The truth shall set us free. If it doesn't, it's not the truth. Okay? Well, I personally think the planet's wired all wrong. Okay? And it does come back to the Gregorian. So however much you're traditionally locked in to the Gregorian functioning as your macro program, I'm here to say to you once again, better do the maths again, because the inner reflects the outer. So what happens if the outer is all skewed? Does that potentially affect our inner on a resonant level? Yeah, I'm talking about resonance here. Yeah, music. Yeah, does the music of our macro program, is it conducive to our health? Really? I would say no. Negative, actually. That's what I'd say. And that's the proof. Well, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years of evidence. Accurate scientific evidence based off of accurate measurements of nature where we actually live that actually transcends the Gregorian regime, which is what it is. It's a regime because we never consented to it. No, there were protests in the streets when the 10 days were removed by a papal edict, by a papal bull. Yeah? That's a hierarchical system changing the laws to suit themselves. Yeah, same thing's playing out right now. Yeah, we've got the 5G stuff happening. We've got all the stuff to do with journalists. Yeah, people who express truths. Yeah, like Julian Assange. Right. Yeah. Yeah, so courts of law as well. Well, I've been discussing law. Yeah, to me, law and science have a very deep connection. So, yeah. It would be very interesting to actually have a proper international court setting for all of these different, the 5G, and freedom of speech and journalism, yeah, and, yeah, the infinity codes, yeah. Go on then, scientists. Yeah, I've made all these videos. I have my good days, my not so good days, but it's not about me, it's about the maths. If you feel like you can disprove anything, I'll happily listen to you, because I'll say it again. Whenever I've found an error and found out how to improve it, yeah, it's got better. I'm not sure if everybody's got the same understanding of science, but that's actually how it works. Yeah. The actual point is to make things actually better. Yeah. Not to make them more restrictive and controlled. Okay? It's to make them better. Yeah? Freedom. Right. Well, where's the international courts then? Yeah? Where's the world courts? Yeah? Court of law? Who's presiding over it? Yeah? What vested interest do they have? Yeah, which d.n.a. lineage do they belong to? Yeah, and their soul d.n.a. too? Yeah, where's that from? Well, yeah. This is Osiris. I am of Arcturus. Blessings to you. This video is dedicated to all the mothers. Yeah. Because we're all born of woman. Yeah. Into this male-dominated world with its male-domination Gregorian calendar system. And yeah, definitely, of the people I've spoken to, it's mainly the males that have the most issue with what I'm talking about. That's no surprise. Well, you can't really argue with the science, though. Yeah. Where's the Gregorian science? I don't see any. In fact, what I see is something which was forced onto the world population without their consent. Yeah. And this information transcends it. Okay? The inner reflecting the outer, yeah, reflecting the outer still. Yeah. Outer space. Celestial d.n.a. time spiral. I mean, yeah. Why did I call it the celestial d.n.a. time spiral? Because when I mapped it out, yeah, it did this waving like this. Okay? That's why I called it celestial d.n.a. Yeah, no, I added the marker points for the eightfold year afterwards, so I could see the sections. I originally called it celestial d.n.a. time spiral, though, because it does this weaving like a d.n.a. It just so happens that the eightfold is really a very, very important part. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the predicament then. So, in order to bring you all this information, I've had to not use the Gregorian. The information I'm providing with you is based off of not using the Gregorian. I could only have found it all and discovered it all and tracked it accurately using the actual eightfold year dates, which are aligned to the stone circles, which also have nothing to do with the Gregorian. And the information that's revealed to me actually relates to our whole planet in relation to vast cycles of climatic shifts, which could potentially affect everything from trade to currencies to politics to the whole thing, actually. Because you'll note in the other episodes, we're talking about the rise and fall of empires. But right now, humans think they're in charge. And apparently they think they're in charge because they use the Gregorian. Again, I will repeat for the record, I don't think you know what you're talking about. Okay? Your concept of time is the Gregorian calendar is a limited view. Okay? And this work, all of this information, goes to reveal the truth of the nature that we live in accurately, and therefore transcends the Gregorian and puts the Gregorian in its actual proper place, which is a traditional construct, which is fine. You're obviously entitled to choose to use the Gregorian calendar. Personally, though, I'm a scientist, so I can't, because all this information has been revealed to me by not using the Gregorian. So, bringing honor to our ancestors, my ancestors from this land, I feel deep connection to our ancestors, all the way back to the stone circles, because I love the maths, that they embody understanding nature. So this episode is dedicated to them, and all the mothers, because the continuation of the species, where would we be without the egg? Okay? Blessed be. May peace prevail on our beloved planet Earth.